The waves crashed rhythmically against the shore as I sipped my morning coffee on the deck of my beach house. It was my Sunday ritual, watching the sunrise over the Atlantic, listening to the seabirds, and enjoying the peaceful solitude I'd worked so hard to earn. The sound of tires crunching on the shell driveway shattered my tranquility. I didn't need to look to know it was my mother's Mercedes SUV. She was the only one who showed up unannounced, especially at 7 a.m. on a Sunday. I'd been expecting this visit ever since my sister Olivia's tearful phone call last night. Caroline, Mom's voice carried across the beach breeze. Caroline Ann Mitchell, full name. This would be bad. I took another slow sip of coffee as she climbed the stairs to my deck, designer handbag swinging, perfectly coiffed hair untouched by the sea wind. Some force of nature protected my mother's appearance at all times. "Good morning, Mom," I said calmly. "Coffee? Don't good morning me." She declined the offered chair, choosing to loom over me instead. "We need to discuss your sister's situation." Of course we did, because Olivia's problems always became family emergencies that somehow landed in my lap. "I assume this is about the twins' college funds." I kept my voice neutral. "Your sister is devastated." Mom's voice wavered with practiced emotion. "All their savings gone. How could James do this to them?" I bit back my initial response. My brother-in-law James hadn't done anything to them. He'd lost his job when his company downsized, and they'd burned through their savings trying to maintain their lifestyle instead of adjusting their spending. "The twins start college next year," Mom continued. "They've been accepted to Princeton and Yale, but now," she dabbed at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. I set down my coffee cup. "Has Olivia considered having them apply to state schools? The education is excellent and much more affordable." Mom gasped as if I'd suggested they attend class in a barn. "They're Mitchells. Your father and I didn't spend a fortune on private schools and extracurriculars for them to attend some public university." I glanced at the ocean, gathering patience. "Times have changed, Mom. Many top companies actively recruit from state schools now. That's not the point. These are your niece and nephew. Family helps family." And there it was, the real reason for her early morning visit. "How much?" I asked quietly. $400,000. She said it like she was asking to borrow $20. For both twins for 4 years. Everything's so expensive these days. I didn't react to the number, though it was higher than I'd expected. "And you want me to provide this money? Well, you have this lovely beach house that you hardly use." Mom gestured at my 3-story oceanfront home. "If you sold it, that would more than cover their education. You could get a nice condo instead." I almost laughed at the audacity. "I use this house every weekend, Mom. I'm using it right now. But you're just one person. The twins' future is at stake. Their future isn't in jeopardy." I pointed out. "They have multiple excellent, affordable options." "Caroline," Mom's voice took on the guilt-inducing tone she'd perfected over decades. "You don't have children. You can't understand a mother's desperation. Olivia hasn't slept in weeks. Because she and James refused to adjust their spending when he lost his job. Because they kept the country club membership and both luxury cars instead of planning for the twins' education." Mom's face hardened. "You've always been so judgmental of your sister. Just because your little computer job worked out." Now I did laugh. "My little computer job. Is that what you still think I do? Well, whatever it is, something with websites." She waved dismissively. "The point is, you have this house. You're single with no responsibilities. It's your duty to help." I stood up, my patience evaporating. "Let's continue this inside. There's something you need to see." Mom followed me into my home office, her heels clicking on the hardwood floors. I settled behind my desk and opened my laptop. "What are you doing?" she demanded. "Showing you exactly what my little computer job entails." I turned the screen toward her. "This is my company's current valuation." Mom squinted at the number, then blinked hard. That can't be right." "Mitchell Digital Solutions." I pulled up more documents. "The cybersecurity firm I founded 12 years ago. When you and Dad told me I was wasting my time with computers instead of finding a husband." But that's billions, Mom." With a B, I clicked through more screens. "We protect the digital assets of over half the Fortune 500 companies. That website work you dismiss. It's cutting-edge artificial intelligence and security infrastructure." She sank into a chair, her carefully maintained composure cracking. I don't understand. I've tried to tell you for years. You and Dad were so focused on Olivia's perfect family, her society connections, her twins' achievements. You never listened. Why didn't you say something? I did, repeatedly. Remember last Christmas, when I tried to explain my company's latest acquisition? You changed the subject to Olivia's new tennis instructor. Mom's face flushed. But, if you have this kind of money, why wouldn't you help your sister? Because throwing money at problems doesn't solve them. I pulled up another document. Did you know Olivia and James took out a second mortgage last year to pay for the twins' graduation party and European trip? That was a special occasion. It was financial suicide. I turned the screen again. They owe more on their house than it's worth. They're 3 months behind on payments. James's severance ran out, but they haven't cut a single luxury expense. How do you know all this? Because I've been watching, waiting for this moment. The moment you'd show up expecting me to rescue them. Mom straightened, rallying. Well, now that I know you can easily afford it. No. No. She stared at me. What do you mean no? I mean I won't sell my house or give them money for tuition. I closed my laptop. But I will help them. The right way. There is no other way. The twins start college in 4 months. They can defer a year. I held up my hand as she started to protest. Here's my offer. I'll pay for 4 years of college for both twins at any school they choose. Mom's face lit up. After I continued. Olivia and James complete 1 year of financial counseling. After they sell their oversized house and downsize. After they give up the country club membership and lease returns on their cars. After they learn to live within their means. You can't be serious. I've never been more serious. I pulled out a folder I'd prepared weeks ago, knowing this day would come. Inside is my proposal. 1 year of financial rehabilitation in exchange for fully funded college educations. Their choice. But the twins' dreams will be deferred, not destroyed. They can work or volunteer for a year, build their resumes, mature a bit. Many schools actually prefer that now. Mom stood up, shaking. Your sister will be humiliated, having to sell her house, give up her lifestyle. Better temporary humiliation than permanent financial disaster. I stayed seated. Those are my terms. I'll speak to your father about this. Dad's trust fund ran out 3 years ago. Mom. Or didn't he tell you? The monthly deposits you think come from family money. They're from me. She froze. What? I've been supporting you and Dad since his retirement fund collapsed. The house maintenance, the medical bills, the cruises, all paid for by my little computer job. Mom sank back into the chair. Decades of family dynamics were crumbling around her. Why? She whispered. Because you're my parents. Because I love you. But love doesn't mean enabling destructive behavior. I opened the folder. So here's your choice. Accept my terms for helping Olivia and the twins. Or I'll stop the monthly deposits to you and Dad as well. You wouldn't. Try me. I met her eyes steadily. I'm not the disposable single daughter anymore, Mom. I'm the one holding this family's financial future in my hands. And it's time for things to change. She stared at the folder, then at my laptop, then at me, really seeing me for perhaps the first time. Your sister won't accept this, she said finally. Then the twins can take out student loans like millions of other kids. Their choice. Mom stood up shakily. I need to discuss this with your father. Of course. I walked her to the door. You have 48 hours to decide. After that the offer expires. She paused on the deck, looking lost. When did you become so hard? Not hard, Mom. Strong. There's a difference. I softened slightly. I want to help. But help doesn't mean rescue. After she drove away, I returned to my coffee and the sunrise. My phone buzzed, a text from Olivia. Mom told me what you're demanding. How dare you? I typed back, not demanding, offering. Your choice. Another buzz. The twins are crying. Their dreams are ruined because their aunt is a heartless bye. I put the phone down without reading the rest. The first phase of my plan was in motion. Now came the hard part, standing firm while they all flailed against the new reality. The waves kept rolling in, steady and strong. Like me, the next 48 hours unfolded exactly as I'd predicted. Dad called first, his authoritative business voice in full effect. Caroline. This is ridiculous. You can't hold your sister's children's future hostage. Hello to you too, Dad. I was in my corporate office reviewing security protocols for a major bank. Did Mom show you the folder? Demands. Yes. He practically spat the word. This isn't how our family operates. I minimized my work screens. You mean we don't require accountability? Clearly. Don't take that tone with me. I'm still your father. Yes, you are. And I'm still depositing $15,000 into your account every month because your retirement fund collapsed. I kept my voice level. Would you like to discuss that? Silence. I thought not. I pulled up their financial records. Just like you don't want to discuss the 3 credit cards you've maxed out this year, or the equity loan on your house that's going to adjust soon. How do you? I know everything, Dad. Every account, every debt, every financial skeleton. Would you like me to continue? More silence. The offer stands, I said finally. 48 hours. Your choice. He hung up without responding. Olivia was next, showing up at my office unannounced that afternoon. My assistant Maria tried to stop her, but Olivia burst in anyway. Mascara streaked from crying. How could you do this to us? She wailed. To the twins. I gestured for Maria to close the door. Sit down, Olivia. I will not sit down. My children's lives are ruined because you're being spiteful, and your children's lives are impacted because you and James made poor financial choices. I corrected. The folder outlined several excellent options. We can't sell our house. What would people think? They'd think you're making responsible choices for your family's future. I pulled out another copy of my proposal. The numbers are very clear. Olivia, you're drowning in debt. That's temporary. James has interviews for jobs paying half what he made before. I'd done my research. Even if he gets one, you can't maintain your current lifestyle. She collapsed into a chair. Finally. Why are you being so cruel? This isn't cruelty. It's reality. I softened my tone. I want to help Liv. But real help means changing the underlying problems. By making us sell everything. Live like normal people. Yes. I opened the proposal. 1 year of financial rehabilitation. You sell the house, move into something affordable. Give up the country club, the luxury cars, complete financial counseling and stick to a budget. And then you'll pay for the twins' college. Full tuition, room and board, books, everything. At any school they choose. Plus a reasonable living stipend. She stared at the numbers. But they'd have to wait a year. A gap year would be good for them. They can work, volunteer, mature a bit. Work. She looked horrified. They're Mitchells. And Mitchells apparently need to learn the value of money. I closed the folder. Those are my terms. James will never agree. Then I suggest you start researching student loans. Olivia stood up, straightening her designer dress. Mom said you're some kind of secret millionaire now. That you've been supporting them. The details of my success aren't relevant. They are when you're being stingy with family. Her voice rose. You could help us without all these conditions. Like James's family helped. Remind me how that worked out. She flushed. James's wealthy parents had given them money for years, enabling their overspending until their own finances collapsed. That's different, she muttered. No, it's not. And I won't make the same mistake. I stood up. 48 hours, Liv. Think carefully. After she left, I pulled up the security cameras at my parents' house. They were all gathered there. Mom, Dad, Olivia, James, even the twins. Probably strategizing how to change my mind. My phone buzzed with a text from an unexpected source. Can we meet? James. I considered for a moment, then replied. My office, 8 a.m. tomorrow. He responded immediately. Thank you. The next morning, James arrived precisely on time, looking much older than his 45 years. The strain of their financial struggles showed in his face. Thank you for seeing me, he said quietly. Of course. I gestured to a chair. Coffee, please. I poured 2 cups from my private bar, while he gathered his thoughts. I've been lying to everyone, he finally said. About my job prospects, about our finances, about everything. I nodded, waiting. We're not just underwater on the house. He swallowed hard. We borrowed money from some people, bad people, using the twins' trust funds as collateral. Loan sharks, I kept my voice neutral. Yes. He stared into his coffee. I was sure I could replace it before anyone found out. But then the job, and the market. How much? 200,000. He looked up. With interest accruing daily. I pulled out my laptop. Names. What? The loan sharks. Names and contact information. He hesitated. James, I can't help if I don't have all the information. Slowly he wrote down 2 names and numbers. Does Olivia know? No one knows. His hands shook. I've been moving money around, taking from one account to pay another. But it's all falling apart. I studied him thoughtfully. Under the designer clothes and country club membership, he was terrified. Okay, I said finally. Here's what's going to happen. I'll have my security team deal with the loan sharks. That problem disappears. Relief flooded his face. But I continued. You have to tell Olivia everything. Tonight. And you both sign my proposal. All of it. The house. The lifestyle changes. Everything. I was firm. No more lies. No more pretense. You start fresh. From the ground up. He nodded slowly. And the twins' college will be fully funded as promised. After you complete 1 year of financial rehabilitation. Why are you helping us? He asked suddenly. After how the family has treated you. Because sometimes people need to hit bottom before they can rebuild. I closed my laptop. Go home, James. Tell Olivia the truth. Then call me. After he left, I contacted my head of security. Within hours, the loan sharks operation was shut down. Their records mysteriously transferred to federal authorities. The advantage of running a cybersecurity firm. Problems could disappear very efficiently. That evening, my phone exploded with messages. Mom, Olivia's hysterical. James told us everything. Please come over. Dad, we need to talk as a family. Olivia, how long have you known? The twins, please, help us, Aunt Caroline. I texted back one response to the family group chat. My office, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Everyone. Then I drove to my beach house and watched the sunset, knowing tomorrow would change everything. At 8:45 a.m., I stood in my corporate boardroom reviewing the documents spread across the mahogany table. Financial statements, property assessments, credit reports, college information packets, the complete dissection of my family's fiscal reality. Maria buzzed my intercom. Your family is arriving, Miss Mitchell. Send them up. And Maria, hold all calls. They filed in like chastened schoolchildren. Mom and Dad first, both looking sleepless. Olivia and James no longer pretending affluent confidence, and finally the twins, Emma and Ethan, their usual teenage swagger replaced by uncertainty. Sit down, everyone. I gestured to the chairs. We have a lot to cover. Caroline, Mom started, about last night's revelations. We'll get to that. I remained standing. First, let's establish some ground rules. Complete honesty. No interruptions. No dramatics. Can everyone agree? They nodded, even the twins. Good. I pressed a button, lowering the room's blinds and activating the presentation screen. Let's begin with the current situation. Charts and graphs appeared, detailing the family's interconnected financial disasters. Credit card debt, mortgages, loans, failed investments, all color-coded and categorized. Between all of you, I continued, you have accumulated $3.7 million in debt, not counting James's recent unofficial borrowing. Dad shifted uncomfortably. This debt is spread across 37 credit cards, 4 mortgages, 3 car loans, and various personal loans. I clicked to the next slide. Your combined monthly payments exceed your income by $23,000. But we've been managing, Olivia protested weakly. No, you haven't. You've been shuffling debt and living on borrowed time. I displayed their payment histories. You've made minimum payments by taking out new loans, creating a spiral that's about to collapse. Emma raised her hand tentatively. Aunt Caroline, what does this mean for college? That depends on the choices made today. I softened my tone. But first, your parents need to be honest with you about everything. James cleared his throat. Kids, your mother and I, we've made some terrible mistakes. Over the next 30 minutes, James and Olivia confessed everything. The maxed out credit cards, the second mortgage, the depleted trust funds. The twins sat in stunned silence. Why didn't you tell us? Ethan finally asked. We wanted to protect you, Olivia said tearfully. By lying. Emma's voice cracked. By pretending everything was fine. That's enough, I interrupted. Assigning blame isn't productive. We're here to discuss solutions. I clicked to the next slide. My proposal, broken down into phases. Phase 1, asset liquidation. The house goes on the market immediately. Both luxury cars return to the lease company. Country club membership terminated. Where will we live? Olivia whispered. I've found you a comfortable 3-bedroom rental in a good school district. Walking distance to public transportation. I showed them photos. The rent is manageable on James's potential new salary. Public transportation. The twins looked horrified. Welcome to the real world. I moved to phase 2. Financial rehabilitation. You'll work with counselors I've selected to create sustainable budgets. Learn basic money management. Build healthy financial habits. Dad raised his hand. And your mother and I are included in this plan. I met his eyes. The monthly deposits to your account will continue, contingent on your participation in counseling and adherence to budgets. He nodded slowly. Phase 3, education planning. I turned to the twins. You'll take a gap year. Work part-time jobs. Volunteer. Maybe take some community college classes. Learn the value of money and education. But Yale, Emma started. We'll still be there in a year. I've already spoken to the admissions offices. They're supportive of students taking gap years, especially with a structured plan. You've thought of everything, Mom said quietly. Yes, I have. Because someone had to. I displayed the final slide. After 1 year of compliance with all conditions, I will fully fund both twins' college educations. Any school, all expenses covered. The room was silent as they absorbed everything. There's one more thing. I pulled out a stack of documents. These are individual contracts for each of you. They outline your responsibilities, the consequences of non-compliance, and the rewards for success. Contracts with family? Mom looked shocked. Yes, because verbal agreements and good intentions aren't enough anymore. I started distributing the papers. Everyone needs to understand exactly what's required. As they read through the contracts, I watched their faces. The twins seeing their gap year requirements, work volunteering, financial literacy classes, Olivia and James, reviewing their new budget constraints and counseling schedules. My parents, realizing how dependent they'd become on my support. This is extensive, James said finally. Yes, because Band-Aid solutions won't work anymore. I sat down at the head of the table. You have a choice. Sign the contracts, follow the plan, and rebuild your lives on a solid foundation. Or decline, and face the consequences of your choices without my help. Emma looked up from her contract. What about our friends? Everyone will know. Know what? That your family is making smart decisions. That you're gaining real-world experience before college. I held her gaze. True friends will respect that. The rest don't matter. The country club ladies will talk. Mom murmured. Let them. Their opinions aren't paying your bills. Ethan spoke up. These job requirements. They're kind of intense. 20 hours per week of actual work, 15 hours of community service, 5 hours of financial education classes. I nodded. Welcome to responsibility. And after a year, Olivia asked, if we do everything required. I pulled out my personal checkbook. I write the first tuition check myself, but only after a full year of compliance. One major violation and the deal is void. Dad studied me thoughtfully. You're not just teaching the twins, are you? This is about all of us. Yes, I met his eyes. Because this family needs to change. The pretense, the enabling, the financial irresponsibility. It stops now. And if we refuse, Mom's voice was barely audible. Then you face reality without my help. The house goes to foreclosure. The twins take out student loans. You and Dad live on Social Security. I kept my voice gentle but firm. Your choice. James picked up a pen. Where do I sign? One by one they signed the contracts. Even the twins, though Emma's signature was tear-stained. What happens now? Olivia asked. I pressed the intercom. Maria, send them in, please. The boardroom door opened. A real estate agent, financial counselor and career coach entered. Now, I said. We begin. The house goes on the market today. You'll meet with the financial counselor this afternoon to start budgeting. The career coach will work with James on job opportunities, and the twins on their gap year plans. Today, Olivia looked panicked. No time like the present. I stood up. Welcome to your new reality. As they filed out with their respective advisors, Dad lingered behind. You know what this reminds me of, he said quietly. What? That summer you interned at my office. Everyone dismissed you as the boss's daughter. But you restructured our entire filing system in 2 weeks. He smiled sadly. I should have seen it then. How capable you were. How much smarter than all of us. Dad, no, let me finish. I was wrong about you. We all were. And I'm sorry it took this disaster for us to realize it. I touched his arm. It's not about being smart. It's about being honest. With ourselves and each other. Will you ever forgive us for how we treated you? I already have. But forgiveness doesn't mean enabling old patterns. I picked up his signed contract. Are you ready for change? He straightened his shoulders. Yes, for the first time in years. Yes, after everyone left, I stood at my office window, watching the city below. My phone buzzed with a text from Emma. The financial counselor is intense. But thank you for caring enough to be tough on us. I smiled, typing back. Welcome to the real world, kiddo. You're going to do great. Phase 1 was complete. The contracts were signed, the process begun. Now came the hard part, helping them maintain their commitment through the challenges ahead. But for the first time in years, I felt real hope for my family's future. 1 year later, I sat in my beach house reviewing the final compliance reports. The transformation in my family had been remarkable, though not without struggles. The first month had been the hardest. Olivia cried daily as they packed up their mansion. The reality of downsizing hitting hard. The twins faced social media backlash when they started their retail jobs. Former private school classmates mockingly posting photos of them in work uniforms. But slowly things began to change. Emma discovered she loved working at the bookstore, her literary knowledge making her a favorite with customers. Ethan's job at the recreation center led to a passion for teaching kids swimming lessons. Their gap year transformed from punishment to opportunity. My phone buzzed with a text from Emma. Big family dinner tonight. We have news. I smiled, typing back. My house, 7 p.m. I'll cook. As I prepared dinner that evening, I reflected on the year's milestones. Month 2. James landed a job as a mid-level manager at a local manufacturing firm, less prestigious than his former position, but honest work with growth potential. Month 4. Olivia started a small home organizing business, turning her perfectionism into a profitable skill. She now had regular clients who appreciated her attention to detail. Month 6. Mom's volunteer work at the women's shelter evolved into a part-time counseling position. She discovered she had a gift for helping others navigate financial crises. Month 8. Dad joined a mentoring program for small business owners, sharing his experience while learning modern business practices. His humility opened new doors. Month 10. The twins' college essays about their gap year experiences earned them early acceptance letters, with merit scholarships to supplement my promised support. The doorbell rang at 6:55 p.m. My family was nothing if not punctual now. They entered together, no more separate dramatic arrivals. Their clothes were simpler but well maintained, their demeanors more genuine. Something smells amazing, Mom said, hugging me without her former air kisses. Just pasta. But I remember it was Emma's favorite. I accepted their modest hostess gifts, home-baked cookies, fresh flowers from their rental's garden. We gathered around my dining table, the ocean visible through the windows. No more formal dining rooms or elaborate table settings, just family and good food. Before we eat, Emma stood up, holding Ethan's hand. We have an announcement. Everyone turned expectantly. We've decided to change our college plans. Ethan said, we're still going, but not to Yale or Princeton. Olivia tensed slightly, but stayed quiet. I'm accepting the honors program at State University. Emma continued. Their literature department is excellent, and with Aunt Caroline's funding plus my merit scholarship, I can graduate debt-free with money for graduate school. And I'm going to City College's athletic training program. Ethan added, my work at the rec center showed me what I really want to do. The old Olivia would have protested. The new one simply asked, are you sure? Yes, they said together. We've learned so much this year, Emma explained. About money, about work, about what really matters, and about being honest with ourselves. Ethan added, these programs fit who we are, not who we thought we had to be. I watched my sister's face as she processed this. Finally, she smiled. I'm proud of you both for making your own choices. Speaking of choices, James spoke up. I've been offered a promotion at work, regional manager. That's wonderful, Mom exclaimed. It means more responsibility, longer hours, but also better pay. He squeezed Olivia's hand. Enough that we can start looking at buying a small house next year, something within our means. Actually, I set down my glass. That's perfect timing. I have some news too. I pulled out a folder, much like the one I'd presented a year ago but with a different purpose. Your compliance reports are complete. Everyone met or exceeded the contract requirements. I opened the folder. So I'm adding something to my original promise. They leaned forward. In addition to the twins' college funding, I'm establishing a family investment trust. Each household will receive seed money for approved purposes, home down payments, business startups, education. Caroline, Dad started. With conditions, I continued. The financial counseling continues. All major purchases require trust approval, and everyone contributes a percentage of their income to help others in similar situations. Like a family foundation, Mom asked. Exactly. Because this journey shouldn't end with us. Emma wiped tears. Is this why you were so tough on us? To teach us how to help others? Partly, but mostly because I love you all enough to risk your anger in order to ensure your future. Olivia stood up and hugged me. A real hug, not her former social embrace. Thank you for not giving up on us. Later, after dinner and dessert, we sat on my deck watching the waves. The twins described their volunteer projects. Mom shared stories from the women's shelter. Dad and James discussed business ethics. No pretense, no competition, no financial anxiety clouding every interaction. Remember that first meeting in your office? Mom asked quietly. When you showed us those terrible financial charts. Of course, I was so angry. Thought you were being cruel. She smiled. Now I understand it was the kindest thing you could have done. The truth usually is, I replied, even when it hurts. We've learned so much, Dad added. About money, yes, but more importantly, about family, about what success really means. I watched the sunset paint the ocean gold, remembering that morning a year ago when Mom demanded I sell this house to enable more family dysfunction. Instead, it had become a gathering place for a stronger, healthier family. A symbol not of wealth but of transformation. My phone buzzed with a final text from Emma. Best gap year ever. Thanks for being the aunt we needed, instead of the one we wanted. I smiled, typing back. Thanks for becoming the people you were meant to be. The waves rolled in, steady and strong, like my family had finally become. The end.